What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ducks and Download. Just hanging out here with Queen Amidala, reminiscing about the fact that it's been 25 years since the Phantom Menace first came out, when I was 6 years old in theater. And honestly, this is my love letter to the Phantom Menace. Born in 1992 in the drought of Star Wars, I was raised on the original trilogy for a very long time and watched all of the fun little specials as well with my uncles. As a kid though, it was enjoyable and campy, just like any other Sesame Street for me. So I was pretty much fine with it. And of course, A New Hope, oh, how brilliant. Empire Strikes Back, terrifying, and so great. And of course, Return of the Jedi, my favorite of the original trilogy. What an amazing moment, how much just great retribution, and yet redemption and hope. So I was able to kind of comprehend the world just a little bit before we got the announcement that Star Wars wasn't just going to live between 3 movies and a lot of books and comics. We were finally getting The Phantom Menace. And what amazing TV spots we got. We got commercials, we got Pepsi, we got of course the KFC, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, cup toppers. I mean, the promotions were out of the wazoo. It was wild and wizard in the late 90s, early 2000s for Star Wars. There was millions spent in advertising for the Phantom Menace. And we cannot forget, the original TV drop had Darth Maul igniting the double-sided lightsaber. And we all lost it. The entire world collectively was ready for this. I was young enough to thankfully not allow movie critics and bums around me to influence my thoughts, and I loved the movies. Jake Lloyd did a brilliant job. Ahmed Best and Jar Jar Binks are phenomenal character. Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, all of them. The writing's kind of clunky. It's not written for 34-year-olds. Just enjoy it. Turn your brain off. Let it go burr. It's a great time, I promise, man. I loved the Phantom Menace. Pod racing. Now this
is pod racing.
Who can forget such iconic lines that, to me, honestly, were one of those things a lot of people are like, oh, easy pod racing. They said it ironically, and now people just say it all the time because it's good. The merchandising, though, like with these Pepsi things, are what really sold my young spirit on this new Star Wars and made me a fanatic for the rest of my life. So many toys, the flip-out lightsabers that lit up, they didn't make noise when I was a kid. That was all just from you. Vroom, 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 vroom. But it was an amazing time because everything was covered in red, black, and gold for the Phantom Menace. Queen Amidala was everywhere, Darth Maul was everywhere, and Anakin was everywhere, and it was a great time. Also Watto. Watto was on a lot of stuff too. And we knew about all of these amazing things. The trailer was, I wouldn't say it gave away a lot, but it pretty much told a base part of the story and just threw it out there. But none of us cared. That Sith drew everyone in like one hell of an amazing hook, line, and sinker. I mean, to the point where he's lasted to this very day and is still one of everyone's almost favorite Sith, at least top 5 for most lists. And with Qui-Gon Jinn constantly questioning the Council and becoming a character who, in the High Republic standard, if you've read those books, you would know as a way seeker. Someone who definitely follows the calling of the Force way over the voice of a council and the Senate. Qui-Gon is easily one of the best Jedi out there, and young Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor, and just having an amazing role and doing such a great job really bringing about this young adult. And then we have young Annie for all of the kids that were watching, just as scared and terrified as this young boy of what's going to happen next, especially for those of us who were just old enough like myself to know that becomes Darth Vader. Like, what? Oh, and of course, later promotions, we have the most famous image that comes from the young Anakin and the Vader shadow behind him. But for a lot of people too, if you were even younger, you had no idea about that. But I was just old enough to know this poor young child is somehow about to get so mentally destroyed, he becomes a bad guy. I was too young to have any idea how they were going to do it. But getting to grow up with Anakin Skywalker, there's a reason he's one of my favorites. For a lot of young men in my age group, we love Anakin Skywalker, and a lot of us love Episode 3. I'm more of an Episode 1 guy when it comes to the prequels, but Episode 3 is still amazing. But it was the culmination of us growing up just like Anakin Skywalker growing up. We got to see young Annie, who was scared and unsure like we were, become a awkward young man who spoke awkward, walked awkward, and just didn't feel right in his own body pretty much. And we were there with him. And then a young man who was so terrified of losing everything that he pretty much self-sabotaged. And I don't know about you guys, but I remember my early 20s, and that happened at least 3 to 4 times. So young Anakin was the perfect just embodiment of me as a young child of that time period. So the prequels will always have one of the most special places in my heart. And the Phantom Menace really is going to shine out over all of those because of just how special it really will always be to me. What do you guys think of the Phantom Menace, though? Put down in the comments while you're hitting like and subscribe, of course. What are your thoughts and feelings on the Phantom Menace, and when did you first see it in theaters? Did you get to see it when you were a young child, or did you recently just go with May the 4th and all the re-releases that were coming out? I'd love to hear both opinions. So before we wrap the video up though, guys, I'm looking forward to the rest of the anniversaries, all of the original trilogy, all of the sequel trilogy eventually getting their anniversaries, and of course, more like Attack of the Clones. Oh, Attack of the Clones 25th anniversary, things like that. Gonna be off the hook. Can't wait. The future of Star Wars is always looking so bright, especially 2024 is looking pretty filled up with some dark side, and you know I'm pumped for that. With the Acolyte, with all these new comics and stories coming out, dark side focused, we're really getting some dark side lore, and that's so brilliant. And things like that started because of the world's infatuation with Darth Maul. So I can't thank the Phantom Menace enough for giving me all these wonderful things that we have in Star Wars today, and all the technology that was broken ground, and all the things that pretty much helped make movies what they are, from ILM and Lucasfilm at time. I look forward to hearing from you all in the comments. Thank you all so much for helping with this amazing channel and growing this community, guys. We're getting new subs in, we're getting more views, and we're gonna have this channel really blow up and be a great, positive, fun space for Star Wars lovers. Thank you all so much. Have an amazing rest of your day, and as always, may the Force serve you well.